We are back in business. Brief little hiatus to get the floors finished in the garage. Had to move everything out into my trailer for a couple weeks. Got it all back in yesterday, which means we can dive into the wagon again. The goal is to get these headers from LSE90 wrapped with this DEI titanium exhaust wrap. I've heard horror stories about this stuff. I've never done it before, so gonna watch a couple YouTube videos and get to work. Okay, yeah, that sucked. Took forever. Didn't even turn out that great, but it'll do. If I did it again, I could definitely do a better job, especially towards these ends, but yeah, it'll do the job. So gonna spray it with the spray it came with and then try to get them in the car, and that'll be it for today. Unfortunately, not gonna be able to get the headers in today. The starter I bought does not seem to fit very well, so ordered an OEM one. We'll see if that fits better when it comes in tomorrow, but in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and start building up the front accessories and make this look like a real engine. Water pump is on. Next up, gonna put together Mike's accessory drive kit. I'm gonna run the sand and AC unit, and then this is the Speedway Motors alternator that he recommends. Here's all the pieces of the kit. He's got a great video that walks through every little step. Let's start putting Legos together. So like Michael said in his video, run into a little bit of a clearance issue with this bend in the steering rack for the power steering cooler. I'm just gonna try to bend that back just a little bit. I don't need much. This is only gotta go back, I mean, it's close, but yeah, I'm gonna bend that back for some extra clearance, and then this should fit right in. Just got a big wrench, pushed it back a tiny bit. Shouldn't be too sharp of a bend. Yeah, clearance looks good. It's a nice piece of kit. Had to get a little bend here. I rotated the banjo bolt back just a tiny bit so that it tucks, this power steering line can tuck behind that compressor, but plenty of clearance. Everything looks great. I think that's all for tonight. It's a new day with a little YouTube magic. The headers are in. I went to war with these things last night. Didn't film any of it. I was so frustrated. I tried to do it the easy way and just slide them in from the top. But after looking back at Mike's instructions, the only way they're gonna fit is to go from the bottom. So what I ended up doing was getting the cherry picker out, lifting it, removing the mounts completely, feeding it up through the bottom. That still wasn't quite enough for me, so I unbolted the trans to let it tilt down just a tiny bit. After doing that, they bolted right up, and then I could sit them back down. They fit like a glove. It's clearance is perfect. I didn't even have to undo the steering shaft. There's just enough room there. I'll show underneath too. Yeah, check that out. Mike's got some good notes on his website of what all you've got to be ready for. The only thing I had to do was to take out this sound deadening from the bottom. It's just this messy kind of cloth stuff that you can just cut out. After that, when I put this thing back in, I mean, it is as good as it gets. Clears the Autowerks adapter plate with just enough room to spare. Yeah, pretty stoked about that. Glad those are in. And now the headers are in, we can focus on buttoning back up the top before we move on to wiring. I've got to replace a bunch of gaskets, get these valve covers properly bolted in. They have some old seals and whatnot now. Let's see, get the accessory drive bolted in place for good. Intake manifold, gasket. Cool. The list goes on and on, but I'm just gonna set it up on time lapse and start chipping away. Fuel rail with new injectors went on fine. I went to install these are the ICT billet brackets for the coils. Beautiful brackets, but I do not have enough room with my alternator there to fit the coil. So gonna do a little research. Maybe I'll have to use the stock coil brackets or different coils. Not sure, but I think that's gonna be it for tonight. Well, I was doing research on coil brackets last night since my pretty ICT ones don't fit with the square coils right. And I realized that the guy I bought the motor from on Facebook gave me a box of spare parts and the stock coil brackets, which by the looks of it will be perfect. And they even have these little nifty harness holders. So I cleaned them up with a little degreaser and I think they will do just fine. Let's install and see how they fit. Hell yeah, that is way better fitment. Plenty of clearance with the alternator. May not look quite as blingy, but that'll work. Got a little bit done off camera, so let me update you. Truck coils are on as you saw. They did have some interference with the fuel oil here, but after doing some research, you can just bend it a tiny bit, and that created enough of a gap between this, so I can put this fitting on, which I'll link to. This will allow us to use the stock fuel line. And I also started laying out the MaxxECU harness. This is again the Terminator LS harness. It looks great. I've got some basic things clipped in, got the crank sensor and starter plugged in, and as well as the coils and injectors. Plan for today, unfortunately the plug wires I ordered were too short, so I ordered some fancier ones from Summit that I'm gonna try to get installed, some ceramic ones. Then we will move to installing our power and grounds, and we'll be really close to trying to first start on this thing. I've got to put transmission fluid in the 8HP still, and wire up just a little loop back for the cooler until I get everything finalized in place just to start it. And yeah, we are getting close. God, I hope this thing runs. Oh yeah, way better. Maybe even a hair long, but I'd rather have that than the stock ones being all bent up like they were. So yeah, these look nice. These are the Summit Racing ceramic 8mm plug wires. Hopefully they work. We'll find out, I guess. But next thing to do, I'm running the LS3 throttle body here, and this is an ICT, I think it's a 4-bolt to 3-bolt adapter to run it on the LS6 intake. I was hoping to have it oriented this way, but unfortunately, that causes the blade to interfere with the adapter plate. You can kind of see how it's shaped back there. So I had to flip it, and once I flipped it, my crossover vent was interfering. So tried to bend it, just kind of pinched it, doesn't look good. So I ended up just buying the ICT billet crossover tube. Gonna install that, and then it'll just have the outlet on this side, which should be much cleaner. Gonna knock that out, and then we'll move on to the rest of wiring. Wiring's done, oil's in it. Let's see if it turns over. Here goes nothing. Oh my gosh.